you know,
This meeting is being recorded.
thank you, Carla. And I'm leaning in because usually I'm always sounding like I'm underwater. And so we already kind of really did our open remarks when we shouted out Renata and I think with each other, but I really, really want to go back and say that it is so important and we're so appreciative that everybody that is on this call and probably wanted to be that you took the time out to be a part of this annual meeting with us. And so this is a special meeting where the bylaws require that we hold a meeting in January, but there are always some exceptions. And so last year we held the annual meeting in September, and we had elections in October. And at that time, we decided to wait to hold the annual meeting and board elections as we were able to put together the slate of the new candidates and add to our board. And so this meeting will focus on our accomplishments during 2022, which was a lot, and how we would like to move forward. Um, and so with that, we're going to have a presentation that's going to touch on the information about United Parks as One and the program updates, 2020 accomplishments, and future directions. And so this portion going forward is going to be led by the other executive members of United Parks as One. Um, I believe Carl is going to put up the slide of the presentation, and Elizabeth McGrady is going to take it from here.
Okay. Okay. Remind us a little bit about United Parks as One. United Parks as One was founded in 2011 by leaders from the Friends of Jesse Allen Park, the Friends of Nat Turner Park, Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee, and Eugenia Gardens with the help from the Trust for Public Land. They saw this as a way to foster information sharing process across the organizations and to advocate more effectively for open space in Newark. Our vision. The vision of United Parks as One is empowered and sustainable park, playground, and garden communities that offer safe spaces for artistic expressions, economic advancement, educational programs, environmental appreciation and stewardship, healthy living, and spiritual renewal for all age groups. Our mission. United Parks as One is a citywide alliance of neighborhood-based park, playground, and garden advocates dedicated to creating, maintaining, and activating open spaces for the benefit of Newark residents and communities. Our values are integrity, honor, honesty, and transparency in our treatment of our people and our approach to our work. Inclusiveness, programs, events, and organizational procedures that incorporate the perspectives, passions, and talents of all community members. Loyalty, sincere and unwavering commitment to each other, the community, and the work. Effectiveness, attentiveness to producing our desired results and realizing our vision. Sustainability, establish of a durable organization that advances the long-term empowerment and well-being of park, playground, and garden communities. Some of our program updates are Park Rangers, Summer Enrichment, Environmental Enrichment Program. I'm sorry, that's for Renatha. I took your spot, Renatha. I'm sorry. Where did she go? Ro? Okay.
I thought I unmuted. I'm here.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So I'm so sorry. But there's just so much good. It was so much. The Park Rangers.
Yes. Great program.
I'm just trying to minimize stuff. Sorry. Okay.
It's all good.
All right, here we go. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so every year since 2012, United Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee / United Parks is one. In 2012, we began hosting, the Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee began hosting the Park Rangers Summer Environmental Park Rangers program. That was the year we made it the Summer Environmental Park Rangers program. And in 2014 is when United Parks is One began taking it on. And so every year we host a 6-week summer program. And since the pandemic, it's been either virtual or hybrid. And so in 2022, it was hybrid. And this is just a few snippets from my end of summer report. I'm going to go really fast, but I thought all of these things were pertinent to be in this conversation today, just so you can see how awesome the summer program is. And so these are, I just try to come up with catchy, this is the report. And so, you want to make it interesting and fun. And so this is basically our table of contents in and out these hybrid streets. So these are the things that we did throughout the entire summer. Breathing, gratitude, and mindfulness. That is our yoga and journaling that we do every single year. If you do not know, the Summer Environmental Enrichment Program is the brainchild of the one and only Donna Kirkland. And every program has to have yoga and journaling every day. And so they do yoga and journaling every day because we got to breathe in gratitude and mindfulness. And they, she wants to make sure that they stay connected to their inner person, and it sets the tone for the rest of the day. So then the unity in the community, arts and self-expression, clean and green. Of course, we got to clean up the parks. Playing in the dirt is our gardening sessions with our one and only Hajadina Corbin. Of course, we participate in National Night Out. This particular year, we went to the Hawthorne Farm. They do a cooking class every year, and they love it, and they must do a signature project. And of course, we have some survey results and thank yous. So this is just, like I said, in and out these hybrid streets. This is just a quick explanation of, how the summer went for 2022. Quickly, breathing, gratitude, and mindfulness, a journey through yoga and journaling. We circle up. they get an intention for the day. They write it down in their journal, and they actually are outside or if we're online, with their mats. We give them a mat every year, and it's like just joy, One day we were at Jesse Allen on the grass, Nat Turner on the grass by the Muhammad Ali side, and it was just peacefulness. And I just thought that was something to let you guys know. What else? So yoga and journaling, our person this year, these are just a few reflections from two of the young people. Josiah said that, yoga helped us do yoga every day early in the morning and kept us awake. What I liked about yoga is that it wakes up my body and it keeps me calm and relaxed. Journaling was great because it helped me express my feelings and thoughts to others. Al-Zahir, what I liked about the yoga part of the job was when we would do meditation. It helped keep me calm in the morning, and the yoga stretching woke me up. Plus the journaling was amazing. Being able to write down my goals and my dreams was really inspiring, and I enjoyed every second of it. Thank you, Ms. Tia. So this past year we had Malik Whitaker. He's not my cousin, but he's my cousin. He's an artist from the community. And we also did a workshop, a virtual playwriting workshop. And they wrote plays about the environment. How dope is that? So here's Malik. And this is one of the things that they were able to create from Malik. Are you kidding me? Visual art. This is Taiwo. This is her end result. They did basically sip and paint with Malik. And check out her end result. How cool is that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Theater. So we had Teresa Taylor, a real playwright teach playwriting 101. And they wrote 4 plays, 4 one-act plays, and that was the signature project. Arts and self-expression. Each year, Miss Mia Margie Johnson, she is our person. She helps them with some of their yoga and journaling. She helps them create poetry. She helps them continue the work of the playwriting because she's an artist herself. Because we only had the playwriting teacher twice. Of course, they had to expound, and so Margie was able to assist them with that. And of course, she's a poet herself, so they create all different styles of poetry. There's about 4 of them that they do every year. And oh, I didn't even see that. And so it just better helps them to express themselves, having Mia and arts and self-expression as a component of what we do for park rangers. Yeah, so she does exercises like, what are you grateful for? And she asked them to put it in the chat. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for bad days. Let's put things in perspective, huh? Right? Okay. So those are the kind of things that she, helps them think through, Direct from the signature project. Arts and self-expression. Hi, my name is Taiwo and I'm a rising sophomore. So they had to express themselves at the signature project presentation. So they of course had to write something. And so these are some of the things that they wrote as a presenter at the signature project. Of course, every part of the essential part of park rangers is that they got to clean up these parks. And so we're not necessarily in person all the time, but when we do go out, because we're hybrid, we go to each park. We go to every park. So I believe this is Jesse Allen. This is Jesse Allen, a day at Jesse Allen, and they were cleaning up Jesse Allen Park. I think this is Jesse Allen too. Yeah. And just a quote, whose quote is this? Uh-oh. I think this is Al Zahir again. Yeah. So Playing in the Dirt, just something catchy. Haja Dina Corbin comes every year and she loves it. She says it's the highlight of her summer to come and be able to hang out with the park rangers. She does 4 sessions with them on hydroponic gardening, gardening from pieces. And I keep forgetting what that style of garden is, but how you can cut off the top of a potato or the eyes from a potato and plant it and grow another potato. So I keep forgetting what that type of garden is called, but she does that with them as well. Transplanting. She teaches them about transplanting. And so replanting, soil planting, hydroponics. Haja Dina Corbin, she comes every year and she loves it. She loves it. Yep. And so I just wanted to do a little tidbit about the cover photo, and it's literally Black Boy Joy. We had the most amount of boys this year, the most amount of boys we've ever had, and they were amazing. When I tell you, they were just like too awesome to be around, and it was just, whatever we asked them to do, they did it. And so one day we were at Mildred Helms Park, and we was like, y'all just start. I think they did it on their own. They just start frolicking. Yeah. It was just, say, look, here it is. Here it is. How cool is that? They were just frolicking. And that's just the epitome of Black Boy Joy. Let me say it one more time.
Yes, Black Boy Joy.
So Black Boy Joy, we just had to capture that moment. So National Night Out, of course, they come to National Night Out, they set up, they shut down, and they serve the people. And we're grateful for them to be able to do that. We changed their schedule that day, of course, because National Night Out was at night. And so we asked permission from the parents for them to be able to attend, to help set up and to stay a little extended time so that they could also be a part of the National Night Out experience. They went to Hawthorne Farm this year. And of course, that's by Greater Newark Conservancy. They did yoga at the farm. Look how cool that is. Look at that. Oh my gosh. They sat down with Shannon, who's a senior urban farmer at Hawthorne Farm. And they were able to walk throughout the farm. Like, this is the farm in your backyard, y'all. This is the largest urban farm in the state of New Jersey. So we did some circling up at the farm. It's right on Hawthorne Avenue. Mia always says, it used to be hookers on Hawthorne Avenue. Now there's a farm, And so she's like, I can't believe it, And so, like, to be able to do that with these young people and help them appreciate it is, something that we try to put in their mindset.
Awesome.
Here we go. Time to cook. You see the play on words.
Yeah.
Our chef Sean Hashan, he's from the South Ward, born and raised. He loves doing this every year with us. And this is another one of the ones that they absolutely love. This year we make chicken quesadilla. It's virtual, so that please. And then of course the parents, they love it too because they get to eat too. And the Signature Project. We closed out the program at Zion Hill Baptist Church, and they recited their one-act plays. Of course, not recited from memory, but they did stage readings, and it was so dope. These two, the tall gentleman and the two on the outside, they hosted the entire thing. It was awesome. They had a script and they did their anecdotes, and it was comedic, and it was just awesome. I didn't have to do nothing. You know how I am. I'll interject like, no, let me do it. But no, I didn't have to do anything. They had smooth transitions and it was just awesome. I have the whole thing on tape. I'm gonna figure out one day how to do it. How to like maybe put that on YouTube or something. But yeah, so their final presentation was presenting the one-act plays, talking about the experiences. And there's Keon. June Gunter is our founding member of the Mildred Helms Park, one of the founding members of the Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee, and that is her grandson. And he gave his own perspective from being a little kid to helping out at the park to now being a park ranger. So we wanted to make sure we put that in the presentation. And here's one of the stories that they came up with. It was really short because it's called a one-act play. And they called it a Newark ecological fairy tale. A story of how the living organisms in the park help calm an angry child. So for them to be able to come up with stuff like that, is like, wow. And then here goes some survey results. 100% of the participants said they want to come back and that they enjoyed their summer experience. 100% of participants said they want to be a park ranger again. Oh, did you enjoy being a park ranger? Yes. And then these are the top vote getters. Cooking with Chef Sean was #1. Art and Self-Expression with Miss Mia was 2nd place, and National Night Out was 3rd place. 82% would like to be a park ranger next year, 82%. And thank you. I hope I didn't take up too much time.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you, Renata. That was great.
Yep. Yes.
Great.
Thank
you for all that you do with our youth.
Fantastic. I have a quick question. This is Susan Haig. Are they high school and college, or what's the age range?
So it's high school and college. The age range for a summer youth employment and training person is 16 to 26, I think. 16 to 20, 26, 24, I think. Yep.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sorry, 14 to 24. 14.
Yes, 14.
How many students were able to participate last year?
25. We accept 25, and I believe we held on to 22. Because sometimes
yeah, stuff happens. And is that a perfect size? If it's if there are more, is that too big or?
It's a good size. We could, the more students we take on, the more people we have to employ. And so it's a good size. It's a lot. It's a lot of young people, but it's 5 of us. But 4 on the ground. Because I'm, the director, but it's a good size. It's noteworthy. I think to be able to have 25 young people to do this work and benefit from it is a good number. Of course, we want to be bigger, but that means more coins, more staff, more locations. We're gonna get there. Who's next?
Are there any other questions before we move on to other programs? If not, we'll move on.
Where does the funding come from for that program?
Oh, our sole benefactor, the Trust for Public Lands. Donna Kirkland has been holding the torch and making sure that we get those coins from the Trust for Public Lands every year.
But to add on to that, United Parks as One has garnished some funds to try to expand as well. So,
and so who
to be at all of the different parks, and so Trust for Public Land, was an anchor, but pulling back in United Parks as One is putting more in and trying to garnish more funds for programming to expand it. So. That's a great milestone. We get to add on to some of the, to add more ownership. So,
and who runs that program?
Me.
Yeah. And what's important too, the whole foundation of it was to empower community folk economically, and also to share the gifts that's already within, and be compensated. And so the children get to see folk in their community that's doing this work, being compensated, but also giving of self. And so the whole premise is giving of self, being compensated, and empowering, including folk that usually would not be because of whatever red tape or whatever. So you got people that's volunteering and you can find a place to compensate. That was part of the foundation of it. Well,
yeah. And so originally the program was, I can't even remember the name of the company that did it.
Project Youth. We partnered with Project Youth to do that part.
Yeah, Project Youth wasn't though. They were an outside entity that came into Newark to tell our Newark kids what to do when it came to environmental enrichment. And Donna thought it pertinent that it needed to come from individuals from the community, and why not start with the Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee, who are the folks who live here and know these young people, and so why not put it in the community's hands. And so after Mildred Helms Park had it for 2 years, it still was Mildred Helms Park because it then became United Parks as One. But Mildred Helms Park is under the umbrella of and it's still in the community's hands. So I'm the director of the.
And I want to go back to nothing is new under the sun, right? And so if we go all the way back, the relationship was started with Greater Newark Conservancy. Was doing a lot, and they had the youth, and we had 2 kids, and it started with just 2 kids, and then expanded, and having that partnership and learning from Project Youth as well. But then seeing that even though this is in place, we have to shift it a little bit so that the people that are in the community can be the project youth, right? And so after following and learning and advocating in our office for Parks for People, we took the opportunity to say, okay, if we can partner with another nonprofit, why could we not partner with the park groups that we formed around the parks that we built? And so we took that chance through that advocacy and learning. And this is how it looks, that it can happen if you take a chance and really believe in what you say. And look at what United Parks has grown and the ownership that goes with it. But it took a lot of time and advocacy and people believing it. So that's why we got this dynamic program now.
If anyone wants the full reports, let me know and I'll send you the link.
I think Renata also mentioned that this is a partnership with the city too. So the city of Newark pays the young people through the Summer Youth Employment Program. So that's a kind of a separate part of the cost of the program, but we don't pay that, the city does.
Yeah, we're a host agency. I'm sure everyone's familiar with being a host agency. As the Summer Youth Employment, I still call it SYEPZ. It used to be called SPEED long time ago, but the 6-week summer program and the entities in the city of Newark can be hosts to host young people for their summer jobs, and we host 25 every year. So.
It sounds like there's a lot of news stories here too. We're always on the lookout to send to the news fellows. So I just wondered, has Hawthorne Farm been the largest urban farm in New Jersey for many years, or was that transformation quite recent?
Ronnie Spruce is here. So she's the corridor. She runs the South Ward Special Improvement Districts. So how long has the farm been on the corridors? The corridor, 5 years?
I think we're going on 5 years, Renata. I think it's 5. I've been in my position for 6, so to know it's been there at least 5 years, I can say that. And usually to know that we had to identify exactly what would grow well in the area, because that's the other issue. As somebody that wanted lemon trees, and to find out that we couldn't have those because of environmental issues, but to also thankfully have Clinton Hill that focused on some of the environmental studies and all those other things, that we are thriving, which is always great, and partnering with other people. So thank you, Renata.
Yep.
Congrats.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the largest urban farm in the state of New York.
So let's move on and look at some of our other programs from the year. I will share my screen. So we just finished speaking about the Park Rangers Summer Environmental Enrichment Program. Since 2008, United Parks has been hosting National Night Out celebrations. We were one of the first neighborhood groups in the city to do that. And in 2022, we were fortunate enough to be able to host National Night Out again at all 3 parks, something we had not been able to do during the pandemic. Usually these events feature food. Lately we've been having food trucks from that are operated and owned by community members at the events. And we also have fun activities like face painting. And we feature, as you can tell from the discussion of the Park Rangers program, arts in just about everything we do. So we have opportunities for people to just sit down and enjoy the outdoors and do some creating. This year, I was particularly struck by some of the work that young people did in their patience and just creating while they were there enjoying the night. This young lady, for example, as you can see on the left, started out with this orange yellow circle that took her a while to do. And eventually she ended up with this portrait on the left. I don't know that it's a self-portrait, but she took her time and really created something that's special. And then this other young man drew from his memory Sonic the Hedgehog. I didn't even know who Sonic the Hedgehog was before this, but he sat at the table and drew it out in pencil and then painted and ended up with this. And so it was just amazing to watch the young folks as well as older people enjoy the evening and again, just sit outside and create and eat and have a good time. We also have the United Parks as One Small Grants program, which offers grants of between $200 and $500 to community members so they can sponsor events at the park. And we give priority to groups that are led by volunteers and tend to have a hard time getting access to funds to do these sorts of activities. This is another way that we try to activate the parks and also give community members the opportunity to be leaders in that activation and to determine and actually implement the kinds of activities they want to take place there. One of our grantees, well, two together actually, were ACA Creates and Keys to Success. ACA Creates is the Ivy Hill Vailsburg Center for Arts, Culture, and Community Activism. And so they offer a wide array of activities and training for young people, especially in the arts. And then Keys to Success is a keyboarding program for young people. So they actually each got grants and they put on a joint performance at Nat Turner Park this summer where the keyboarding students did, I guess you could call it a mini recital there. And then the ACA Create students put on excerpts from The Lion King. What happened though was that they wanted to do it at the amphitheater at Nat Turner Park, but it was a blazing hot day that day. So they moved over to Pilgrim Baptist Village and the courtyard area there and were able to do it there. I think that's where this photo is from, but I'm not sure. But that's where they ended up performing that day. Yeah, because they were on
right
that side.
Center.
Yeah,
right in the center. Yes.
And that's where we were. And that's a nice area actually, because it does have trees, but the trees have really tall trunks. And so the trees were not in the way, but yet we could all enjoy the shade and the residents could just sit in their, wherever they were and watch or come out and join. And so that improvisation to change the location worked out really well. Another grantee, Shafani Cares, led by Tiffany Salas, who's actually been involved with United Parks as One in terms of doing some design work on our website and social media. But the volunteer arm of her enterprise, I guess, received funding to host an arts table at National Night Out at Nat Turner Park. And so again, here you see folks just sitting down and enjoying that opportunity. And to the right, you see some of their creations that were hanging to dry. Kids in Business, led by Barbara Weiland, who's an active United Parks as One member, planted tulips at Nat Turner Park. So they received funds from us to purchase some of the supplies. They ended up actually spending much more than that. And they partnered with a landscaping company that actually dug the soil and loosened it so that the bulbs could be planted. So this was done last fall and the blooms should be about to come up. I hope they don't come up too soon. The weather is so funny. Now I know that some daffodils and started blooming early this year and hopefully they'll make it through and we won't have another frost or anything to disturb that. Where they planted them is on the Muhammad Ali side between Jellis and Boyd. So they're kind of on that outer wall to the track and field area. So if you are at the park, be sure to to look out for them. It should be a really striking installation because they planted so many of them. So I'm excited to see how they turn out. And while we were out there planting, people would come by and ask what we were doing and say they couldn't wait to see them. So that was nice that passersby were interested, and the city the city offered the possibility of planting on the other side this coming fall. So that would be nice as well. Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee used their grant to do Fun Day Fridays at the park during the summer for kids and families. And so again, the arts were a part of that with this young fella on the right using chalk. I think he ended up drawing Sonic the Hedgehog too. And then there's classes and sessions about healthy eating. So these young ladies in the middle are making, I think, herb-infused water. And of course, there was music and other fun activities. Here you see a young lady kind of getting a DJ lesson from the DJ who was there that day. Theme Urban is one of our partners, and Fallon Davis, the co-founder, is on our board. They received a grant to put on some events that were part of there, and I want to get the name of it right. The Power of Self-Sustaining Communities and Green Spaces. So they had a whole series of activities last summer in parks and other venues. And so they used the grant from us to do some of those activities in Nat Turner Park, Jesse Allen Park, and Mildred Helms Park. Here they are at Mildred Helms Park, again, bringing information about healthy eating, as well as other opportunities for folks to engage in artistic expression. Part of that, they also did a back to school celebration at Jesse Allen Park and a STEAM Fest kind of day at Nat Turner Park. And then lastly, we had Ubuntu Permaculture Mission, and they used their grant to do a mini worm farm presentation, mini potted worm farm demonstration and giveaway at National Night Out at Mildred Helms Park. So here you see folks creating their farms. That's Hajadina Corbin on the left. You see a young man in the middle who's really pleased with the farm he created. And again, another young lady creating her farm. I was not at Mildred Helms Park that night, but just from the photos that they gave, this was clearly an activity that attracted all age groups and that all age groups seemed to be pleased with. Everyone that they photographed kind of had an expression like the fellow in the middle of the both being pleased and happy to have their photos taken. So that was nice to see. So moving forward then to some of our main accomplishments during 2022. And I'll let Richard Whitten begin that conversation.
Okay. First, I want to thank for the countless number of volunteers who have made United Parks is One what it is. Volunteering for different events at one of our 3 parks, and appreciate the opportunity of creating more relationships. And then I want to thank Mother Nature, because of something that sometimes we take for granted is the weather. And to my understanding, I think the weather has only affected one outside event that has been held by United Parks is One, and that was on National Night Out before the pandemic. But last year, we honored the Spirit of the Rebellion celebration at Nat Turner Park. And in August, we partnered with the Friends of Nat Turner Park, the Regional Plan Association, the Trust for Public Land, and the New Jersey Council for Humanities to celebrate Nat Turner and the community leaders and partners who were involved in the park's development.
And here you see some photos from that day.
There's me in the corner.
Yeah. So, and it was really a special day to, as Richard said, to honor the ancestors all the way from Nat Turner to the folks who advocated for the creation of the park, and to begin with the help of Queen Mother Imaku by acknowledging them and inviting them in. It was really a special day. And then in the middle, you see Linda Street, who was Jerry Gant's collaborator, leading a tour of the artwork at the entrances to the park. And so it was really nice to have Linda on hand to do that, because she could really add some special insight. And again, the arts were part of the activity. On the lower right, you see pieces that folks created from stencils of Jerry Gant's that were provided so that we could have that arts activity for that day. So everything was focused on the ancestors and the creative elements of the park that day. And we had fun, but we had fun with a purpose.
Well, Sister Carla, I must say, for myself, it was very special. You all did a really amazing job, but I am more than overwhelmed because of the fact that last year we found out that we do have direct blood ties to Nat Turner. I'd always known that we had an ancestor who fought with Nat Turner, but we also last year found out that we do have direct blood ties to Nat Turner. And so the work that you all are doing is so much, and it's very family friendly, but it also is very much in the spirit of Nat Turner. And so this is all just it's tremendous. It's tremendous.
And then the following day, we participated with People's Organization for Progress in the commemoration of the Nat Turner Rebellion, which they do every year. Last year, we purposefully planned to have this celebration on that weekend or the day before the commemoration, so that we could have a nice set of activities to celebrate the park and Nat Turner, and then also to commemorate the rebellion. Another special event we had last year was a Kwanzaa celebration that we did in partnership with Steam Urban, which was the main entity for that event, as well as other partners, Clinton Hill Community Action, Plantivia, City of Newark, Trust for Public Land, and others. And that took place at JFK Recreation Center. So this was not a park event, but it was close to the parks and in the communities, and we wanted to be able to support activities year round. And again, you see Queen Mother, who was also a part of that. See her there on the flyer. It was another day that featured music, arts, STEAM activities, as well as a ceremony in celebration of Kwanzaa, led by Queen Mother.
You all sponsored that?
We were one of the partners. Steam Urban was the lead. So Fallon Davis and that organization, and we were one of the partners that provided resources for it. So before we move on, any other thoughts, comments about programs or events?
Did we, I'm not sure, you probably have it in the rest of the slide, but the mention of the Jerry Gant tour Was that mentioned already?
No, because we haven't really released that yet. Or
okay.
So yeah, that's more this year than 2022. Any other thoughts, questions? If not, then
well, how do you officially join this organization?
Officially join?
I've been trying to find out how to join you all for the past couple of years now.
So I'm going to put that in the chat since you asked. I'll do it now before I forget. But to join, there's you can join online, or you can join. You can get the information there and send it to us. So our dues, annual dues, are $20. And the dues go to support the small grants program that goes to those organizations that I was talking about. So that's it. That's it.
Okay, because I've been trying to join. I don't remember if I actually did or not. I've been trying to join.
Oh, great. That's good news. I put that. I don't want to forget. Yeah, I have that link as well as links to our social media that I'll put in the chat. And I'm getting ready to talk about social media, so that works out.
And Ms. Carla, where should journalists go? They aren't going to necessarily join, but where would they find these summaries and info?
I guess at this point, mainly on our website, although we don't have to decide where to put information about our annual accomplishments. I mean, that could be a section on our website that we add for each year. Right now, we don't have that yet, but thanks for asking that question, because that lets us know there would be interest in people in seeing that, people who may not be here today, and that we should want to share that. So yeah, right now the best places would be our social media or website. Richard, were you about to say something? Okay. Okay, so in 2022, we did become active on social media. It's in some ways not an earth-shattering thing, since social media has been around for a while, but we were able to build our capacity to actually establish our website and these social media sites. And I put the links for them in the chat. One of the things we've done is to establish a Wellness Wednesday series with Hajadina Corbin. So that ran from March through December. And her theme was viewing wellness through a different lens. And so we had a series of posts during that period about wellness spaces or aspects of wellness. We did another series about the benefits of essential herbal oils that can be found from different sources and used for different purposes. And talked about things like gratitude. Most of those were posts that we put on social media. Well, they were all posts on social media similar to this. Starting this year, though, so now I'm shifting forward to talk a little about 2023. We're using a different format, and we're doing the posts as videos on YouTube, partly as a way to make them more interactive so that people get a chance to hear from folks in the community who are providing support for wellness, and people who may be on their own individual wellness journey, so that they don't have to do it alone. They can do it with support from folks like Hajadina and the network that she has. And then from time to time, we'll actually have opportunities for folks to interact with each other and do sessions where people can come and raise questions or talk about the successes they've been having, and record those and post those as well. So kind of sharing the journey together is the theme for the approach for 2023. But again, this whole effort started back in 2022. Another thing that we did in 2022 was to expand our leadership. So we've grown and expanded the work that we do over the years. You heard Donna mention that even just in context of the Park Rangers program, but in terms of how United Parks as one as a whole has changed over time. We've taken on more responsibilities, and there's even more work that we know remains to be done. So we're focused now on building the foundation that we need to be able to move in that direction and be effective as we kind of move there, and certainly be effective when we get there, so that United Parks as one can be a sustainable source of parks advocacy and activation and community building here in the city of Newark. So as part of that expansion, we had elections in October, which were mentioned before, and now we have Donna Kirkland as our president, Vice President Richard Whitten, Treasurer Renatha Whitaker, and Secretary Elizabeth McGrady, as well as additional board members. So our board has expanded from 4 members to 11 members. We've added 7. The work of this expanded board really started in 2023. We did have a retreat towards the end of last year. I think the retreat was last year. Now I'm losing sight of time, really. But one of the advantages is that we now have committees who are able to focus on specific issues related to the organization, as well as the work that we do. So we now have a finance committee, we have a fundraising committee. Of course, we have an executive committee, which is made up of the officers, and we have a task force that's looking at the City of Newark's Open Space Trust Fund, so that we can make sure that the funding that is raised through our tax dollars, property tax dollars, can be used to activate and maintain and support a park system that meets the needs of the community. So we're really pleased to have made this step. This was one of the big steps that we made in 2022 to get to the point where we could have a solid leadership foundation. And Richard will say more about our sponsors. We mentioned earlier sponsors for the Park Rangers program, and now we'll talk some about just other sponsors that are supporting the work that we're doing.
Okay, so one of our first and main sponsors is the Trust for Public Land for continuation of funding for the Park Rangers program and National Night Out. 2 thumbs up for United Parks as One, which was selected to receive a 50th anniversary People's Champion Award from the Trust for Public Land National Office. We received a $10,000 grant at an award ceremony in New York earlier this year. The Victoria Foundation and the Community Foundation of New Jersey, so for funding of general operations. The Schumann Fund for New Jersey awarded us a grant to hire a part-time community organizer, which we are still accepting nominations for. So we want to thank our many partners for their continued support and collaboration. And FYI, we are still looking for additional partners. So if you know of any, please steer them the way to Dr. Carla Robinson.
And we'll end by sharing our thoughts about the future directions we're moving in. This graphic is kind of a simplified summary of the work we've been doing and where we see ourselves heading. So during the pandemic, we were able to spend a lot of time focused on our foundation. That's when we did a lot of the outreach to identify potential board members and had conversations with them, and ended up preparing a slate of officers who could be nominated for election last fall. Previously, we had done work on establishing our mission, vision, and values, and also updating our bylaws. Where I'll steer our attention today is this attic area, or our future areas of work. And I guess in 2022, it started to seem like we had made our way up to the attic. We do have the funding for the community organizer. That person will be responsible for working with other park and garden, well, actually initially working with park groups at Nat Turner Park, Jesse Allen Park, and Mildred Helms Park to help reactivate those groups so that they can kind of regain the strength and influence that they had in those areas formerly, when they were really vital entities around the parks and within the communities. And so the community organizers' work will be focused on kind of recapturing that. We've also got our eyes set on expanding the Park Rangers program, serving as a coordinator of programming at open spaces. So to the extent that we can help either do that either through publicizing scheduling so that folks can know what's going on at different parks, playgrounds, and gardens throughout the city. That's a role we see that we could fill in the future, and doing something similar with volunteer and stewardship events across various types of open spaces. But for now, moving forward in 2023, we're really focused on the park groups and being able to support their continued development and growth. So like I said, we're in the attic now. We're starting to take, so the future is now, I guess is a good way to put it. And we're happy to be at this point. So that's the kind of formal part of our report, but we're glad to open up for your questions, comments, thoughts, or whatever. And again, there is information in the chat about our social media website, as well as membership information.
This is Susan again. Very impressive presentation. Thank you so much to everybody, and to Carla. A question, I'm always thinking of those who are coming at, point of entry to the whole topic of parks in Newark. Is the criteria for the fact that you're focused on 3, is it size, is it history, is it community support that was already there? Because obviously there are other parks as well. Just what is the criteria for the focus on these 3?
Dana, can you speak to that, since you were involved from the beginning?
So the focus on the 3 parks is because as the Trust for Public Land built parks and playgrounds, we formed community groups around them. Mm-hmm. And those 3 park groups decided that they would become United Parks as one. Right? Mm-hmm. Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee was already a nonprofit. And as we were building Nat Turner and Jesse Allen almost simultaneous, we were building the Friends groups, modeling Mildred Helms Park Resurrection Committee that was already in place. Mm-hmm. And then figuring out through the groups, did you want to be individuals, each one having a nonprofit or not? And so through multiple conversations with Rutgers Law School students, those 3 groups came together and decided we'll be United Parks as one. And they came up with that name, all seniors that have been doing this work as volunteers. So just imagine not having really a lot of city parks with ownership, and then partnering with community that designed the sites themselves, fostering ownership. And that it became a group, a family, because all over the city was these pocket parks. And so bringing everybody together to support each other doing the work. So that family structure really started with following those seniors at Milton Helms Park, wanting to, and you know, bringing in other organizations as support because there wasn't resources to do programming, partnering with the city, but also giving of self in the organizations that was doing the work, learning from people like Carla, who knew about Partnership for Parks, and we had aspirations to be that Partnership for Parks for Newark. So learning as we go and lifting as we go and making sure that the folks that put that sweat equity in is still a part of it, and that that original vision is still there. And so the big picture is United Parks as One going out into the community and helping to form friends groups just like themselves. Parks that TPL did not build, but there's still community around that needs support. And not just dealing with parks, but green spaces, as Carla and everyone has said, recreation centers, building community as a green space, as the foundation, is open resource. So everything is the whole person, the jobs, the economics, the belonging, all comes from that space. Those three park groups.
Thank you for that explanation. And it's a very strong creative evolutionary model to be to respond to the needs and then to become a model. So
and to let it come organically through the spirit that was there first.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
For that, Donna, you are a treasure. I'm trying to tell you.
Who is in charge of like Military Park and Washington Square? Well, Harriet Tubman Park now, Lincoln Park. Where does that fit in?
Donna?
Oh, wow, look at y'all. So I'm not the expert. I've just been around, but you know, we focus on the parks that's in the community because the downtown parks have always been anchors that we've all used through the years, but monies and stuff was being funded into those parks. The small community parks was left for the community and you know, whatever departments was in the city. So those partnerships. Now, you know, you got the anchor institution that has money for those downtown parks. So it's the City Park Foundation that has funds through those anchor organizations downtown. The big dream too is how do we connect all of the parks and level the playing field, which starts with advocacy and these connections that we're trying to do right now. Closer than we've been, but it's the more people that have that voice to level the playing field.
I'm just trying to understand because I see this one voice talking about being in charge of all the parks, but then
it's a dream being realized. I think that our people, we have to start somewhere. So we're starting in the community and going outward and being involved in as much as we can. It's not going to happen overnight when you're talking about a grassroots movement. And, you know, doing something that was not popular, that is popular now. And really putting community in center and using a lot of sweat equity. You know, it's not the shining star that everybody sees because you're not in the community, but we know. Right. So we got to claim what we know has to be there with the means that we have, right? People can say it, but then you got to look at the work.
Right.
And so we're trying to and aspiring to be and hopefully being seen as that coming from the community.
Right. I was just curious.
And we're in partnership. I mean, Lincoln Park is Anthony Smith. So, I mean, even though we're in different locations and there, you know, there's different funding behind it, we can't get there unless we're collected.
Man.
Thank you.
And we want to have a strong voice and presence that recognizes the work that the people who came before us did in these parks to get them developed or redeveloped, and to kind of show the way for what could be happening in these spaces. And I say that partly because Donna mentioned Partnerships for Parks in New York. In other cities, there are organizations that do what we laid out, what we want to do in terms of supporting the programming and the scheduling of volunteer opportunities and all of that. But I don't know of any other city where the organization that does that is a community-based and led organization that's doing it from the perspective of community members. And so that's what we want to do. And better, I think, for there to be an entity like United Parks and as one in Newark that can do that than to have something else that might not be speaking on behalf of the community. So, you know, we're trying to be deliberate in getting to that point so that, period, I'll stop there, but we're trying to be deliberate in becoming that.
Well said, well said.
And what's so inspiring is that the programming and the activation brings learning and practice and concepts and vocabulary and habits of living. I just think that the diversity of programs and the fact that those kids emerge with a knowledge of food and gardening and arts is really splendid. So it changes your mind of what a park is, really.
Mm-hmm. And the goal is to, get, like the city of Newark thinking that these kinds of things need to be on a year-long basis, and programming needs to be consistent so that parks are places for positive engagement, and so that it doesn't have time to be a haven for the negative element.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal.
Well said again.
And in doing some of that, they can partner with us. The summer stage concerts, for example, in New York that the City Parks Foundation puts on are put on by the City Parks Foundation. So why not have the city and other local funders and other interested people support United Parks as one in putting together a summer schedule of concerts and recreational programs. And although the city does recreation, but concerts and arts activities, day camps or whatever in the park. So again, as Renata said, the parks become these locations of positive activities that don't even leave space or room or time for negative stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And my dream is that sleigh ride in December at our parks. Why do we have to go to Maplewood to do sleigh riding?
That's so wonderful.
Cider and, you know what I mean? Like, why do we have to go to Montclair to do that? We don't have to. We have our own resources in the city of Newark where we can do those things. And so,
Yeah.
I've been a lifelong arts educator, and so it's that teaching our children, and that's precious to me. And I just turned 63 the other day, and thank you. 63, yes. I've seen a lot of changes over the last few years, especially since the pandemic, and there's been a greater call from principals and others in programming for yoga for our youth, which is important. But like last summer, I was teaching for a summer camp program and was very horrified where the children were getting yoga, but then right afterwards they had karate. And then also just the placement of yoga. And then also where you have a lot of people who are pop-up yoga instructors. And I'm not going to say who, but I was kind of shocked when you had mentioned about somebody who was teaching yoga and meditation. And she was just taking some yoga classes from me a couple years ago. I'm very concerned because in the yoga field, we're concerned about adults and children who are taking yoga and who are kind of left wide open. You know,
do it right. I hear you.
It has to be done right. The purpose is to try to get our kids to be able to self-regulate through yoga. And the way I teach is to be able to find it, to use it as a way to be able to kind of center yourself and so forth. But this is being used as a way to try to just get kids to
speak your passion, teacher.
Yoga itself is getting pretty jacked up. Over the last 30 years, I've seen that, okay? But in particular, throughout the pandemic, yoga has become a throwaway thing, and it's become this kind of a cliche. And is it really helping our kids, or is it sort of, is it, I would just like
the light.
Excuse me?
Is it dampening the light?
Right, right. I would like to be able to, and I actually taught yoga almost 10 years ago at Nat Turner Park for a program. And so I have a lot of thoughts on how our young people are being taught, who is teaching them, and what the actual effect is on our young people. I would like to be able to have a voice, if I may, in the programming.
Of course.
Okay, as we go into the summer, regarding yoga, if it's all right. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Sure.
Wow, look at what God just brought. So I'm going to jump in on this, the way the Creator creates a space for what is really needed. The experts come out and share their passion and give the gifts to the unknown. You know, for me, I say a lot of things that come from gut, right? And I'm not an expert. But the Creator put experts in the midst as we try to fine tune what we're trying to do. And so you're in the midst that could teach us, right? And I say us, me in there. The premise of us with the yoga, when we started out, was doing when Gandhi was here and, you know, that kind of thing, and trying to be authentic about the delivery. And part of it was, I think Lotus Yoga was here. It was one of the first ones that we worked with. And it was important that whoever was going to be the teacher would then teach other folk in the community to be certified and be those yoga instructors, right? And that's where it started from. And then as it go, you know, things change as it go, and then something comes in the midst that can make it better. So for me, this is that opportunity, because you are renowned and people know who you are, and it's your passion coming through to speak about what you know to be true that can help all of us. So for me, it's important that you've stepped up to say you want to be a part and to share the foundation of what yoga is and all that comes from it. That is not my expertise, but I'm a vessel to learn and understand what's needed to make things better. So I just wanted to comment on that it would be beneficial to all of us here.
I could, listen, put your number in the chat.
You already signed up as a part of the family, you know, for United Parks is one, and this whole movement is about what do you bring to the table to make it better for the community that we serve. Multi-generational and organically with no strings attached. And when that comes from a person freely, that's a part of the puzzle that's missing. And that's what this has been built on. like minds and like passion to get to where we want to be as a community, and teaching to pass on what we got as gifts to the next person that didn't know that it was in them. So I'm excited about that. You're taking me someplace else through this journey of this work for me. So I thank you for that. And I'm shut up.
And I think what you've offered goes beyond yoga. What I was struck by your comment that they went from yoga to, was it karate? And so I think what you offer is that, right? It's more than the yoga, because this is a holistic, it's kind of, it's holistic. And what is the, not just the experience. I have a hard time putting this in words, because this brings to mind too how you led the libation at the Nat Turner celebration. We were kind of running late, and the agenda seemed like it was messed up, and you stepped in and did what needed to be done to bring us into that time and that celebration, right? And it was about what you did, but I think also about how you were able to perceive what needed to be done in that moment to get us where we needed to be that day. I don't know how much of that was conscious on your part, but I do think that what you just said is, and what you bring is the yoga, and it's more, and we welcome that.
That's kind. Thank you. Thank you.
And I see it's 11:29. So if there are no other comments, maybe we should move to wrapping up so we can.
Thank you, Carla. I got lost there for a moment. So Richard, did we have our discussion and comments and questions?
Yes, I believe Carla had asked that question.
Okay, so I'm on the announcements. Next meeting is going to be Saturday, April 15th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30. You want to open it up if there's any other announcements. I know of one that's going to be going on until 4:30, which is the the Voices, the Muslim Voices, the women filmmakers. Is going to be at the museum today until 4:30. Anyone else want to add any announcements you want to share with anyone? Yay, nay?
No.
Okay, so well, my cup is running over today. We want to thank everybody for coming. You really never know what gifts is going to come from a United Parks as One meeting. I want to say that, each meeting that I've been in with the United Parks as One, even as individual, has always been gift giving. There's never been one that hasn't been. And so I want to thank everybody for coming out. This was not on the script, but I'd like, if you will, if each person could give one word before we leave of how this day has felt to you or benefiting, and then we can close out. But I'm feeling a lot of energy, and I'd like to hear a word or a voice from everyone on the screen on what this day has brought to you today. So with that, I'm gonna start it with the person that face just came up with Miss Elizabeth McGrady. Well, do you all agree with what I just said? Because I'm asking a lot. Yes, okay. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. One word today. Not just one word, but cliche, but there is so much information amongst us that we hold in. But when you share just a small nugget of what you know, how far it will go, and how who it'll touch or who it may empower from that one day. So my one word would be empowerment.
Thank you. And who would you like to throw it to? Can you see?
Queen Mother.
Affirmation.
Okay. Who you want to throw it to, Queen Mother?
Julia Summers.
Thank you, Queen Mother. Exciting.
Thank you, Julia. Who you want to throw it to?
I will throw it to Richard.
I will say amazing, because it's amazing when like-minded. It's amazing at the opportunities when like-minded people are gathered together and share.
Thank you. Who you want to throw it to, Richard?
Is Kateem still on the call?
Yes.
So I thought to Kateem.
Kateem. Okay, while Kateem is working on his mic, I'm going to throw it to Damon.
Oh, Damon.
My word is onward, because I feel like all this energy, motion, good intentions is taking us there. Miss McGrady, did you already go?
Yes, I did, Rich.
So we
All
got...
right, then. Who else do we still got here? Ms. Susan
Haig.
If you could say.
Sure. My word is motivation. Thank you to everybody for that. And I throw it to Donna.
Wow. I got more than one word. Overwhelming with joy. And that I will throw it to Renatha.
The word, I want to say press. Press. With intention. Yeah.
Okay. And we got we're gonna throw it to two more people.
Carla.
Inspiration.
Okay. Kateem, are you here? Text your boss. We want a full house here. Text it in the chat.
What about Liz?
I looked, I don't see nothing.
He might be on the phone or something.
Okay, so we got it in spirit, but this has been a really great meeting. Our first annual meeting. And so this, the omen is that we can go no further than up. And the creator just hit me on the back and said real wide too. So we going up and wide. We can't lose. So thank you all so much for this day. Hope you have a really great weekend. One thing that I did send out, and I'm gonna do a shameless plug, but there is a survey that the Trust Public Land is working with the Department of Environmental Protection on hearing voices of what would you like to do on the outside. And so it's important that link was sent. If you can share it as wide as you can. We're plugging in that even some young people can take that survey. People don't intentionally think about it. So within our group, as we're sharing far and wide, the New Jersey voice, and with big emphasis on Newark, because that's what we're representing. So that's my shameless plug. Have a great weekend. Sayonara.
Thank you, everybody.